So let's start with the 6 basic steps of selling a business. When a business owner decides to sell his or her business, the first step is actually deciding to sell. Why is this person selling his or her business today? They could have sold it 5 years ago, or they could have waited and sold it 5 years from now. Typically, people pick the time to exit their business when there's something else they really want to do. They want to go start another business. They want to become a consultant. They want to go play golf, or they want to do charity work. Once the seller has decided that today is the day they want to exit, they know the first thing the buyer's going to ask is, what do you want for it? So we have to determine an asking price. And then we have to go find the buyer unless the buyer has already approached the seller. Sometimes this whole process begins with a buyer approaching the seller first. So in those cases, we already know who we're selling to. But most of the time, someone will decide to sell their business without the buyer having been identified. And so we have to find a buyer. Typically, we're going to focus on finding a buyer that is at least familiar with our industry, if not the specific company. So we focused on our competitors, we focus on our customers, our suppliers, even our employees and family members, anyone else that's got a background in business. When we tell the buyer the price we want him or her to pay for our business, they're going to say, well, you need to show me some evidence that it's worth that much money. So we collect the documents that describe the business's past. Obviously, financial documents are important, but even brochures. Now you got a packet of information that you can hand to the buyer. A period of negotiating will ensue. This is where the buyer is trying to get the price down, and the seller is trying to make the price go up. You'll face things like a letter of intent and even something called due diligence. And then, assuming there's a fit, you'll sign your name to get paid. Now, as you remember from the conference, most people in the room agreed that when we sell our business, these 6 steps we just went through will generally get the business sold, but you also may recall this process, which professionals refer to as the amateur or the broker process, won't get the business sold for maximum value. Why? Because every single step we just covered is either in the wrong place or executed the wrong way or shouldn't even be on the list. You see, the broker process will get the business sold, but it can't get the business sold for maximum value. That's the key. Instead of the broker process, we need to use the 16-step professional process. You see, every true M&A professional everywhere on the planet has always followed this exact same 16 steps.